Dodger Stadium has witnessed some of the most memorable moments in baseball history. It has seen championship celebrations, record-breaking performances, and countless unforgettable nights under the California sky. But what happened inside that stadium during the sixth inning of last night's game between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Seattle Mariners was something that nobody in attendance had ever seen before and something that the entire baseball world is still struggling to process this morning. Seattle Mariners catcher Raleigh launched a direct physical attack on Shohei Ohtani on the field, triggering one of the most explosive and chaotic brawls that Major League Baseball has witnessed in recent memory. The incident erupted so suddenly and so violently that players, coaches, security personnel, and fans inside Dodger Stadium were left in a state of complete and utter shock. Within seconds of the incident breaking out, both benches completely emptied. Players from both teams flooded onto the field. The noise inside Dodger Stadium reached a level that witnesses described as absolutely deafening. And at the center of it all stood Shohei Ohtani, the most famous baseball player on the planet, caught in the middle of a situation that no one could have predicted and no one could have prepared for. How did this brawl start? What exactly did Raleigh do to Ohtani? Who stepped in to protect their superstar? And what are the consequences that are now coming for everyone involved? Stay with us, because we are about to walk you through every single moment of this extraordinary and deeply shocking evening at Dodger Stadium. The game between the Dodgers and the Mariners had been intensely competitive from the very first pitch. Both teams came into the night with a great deal on the line, and the atmosphere inside Dodger Stadium reflected that tension perfectly. The crowd was loud, the players were focused, and the energy throughout the ballpark was electric in a way that only truly meaningful games can produce. Through the first 5 innings, the game had been tight and physical in the way that only a rivalry game can be. There had been a number of hard slides, close pitches, and heated exchanges between players on both sides. Reporters covering the game noted that the tension on the field had been building steadily throughout the night, and several veteran observers mentioned feeling that something significant was brewing beneath the surface. Then came the 6th inning. And everything changed in an instant. Shohei Ohtani had just completed a play near the base path when Raleigh, moving with clear and deliberate intention, made direct contact with Ohtani in a manner that left absolutely no room for interpretation. This was not an accident. This was not an unfortunate collision that happens naturally during the course of a baseball game. Every single person inside Dodger Stadium could see exactly what had just happened, and the reaction was immediate and overwhelming. The crowd erupted. Players on the Dodgers bench were on their feet before the play had even fully concluded. Coaches began moving toward the field. And within seconds, the situation had escalated beyond anyone's ability to control it. Eyewitnesses at the scene described the moments immediately following Raleigh's attack on Ohtani as some of the most chaotic they had ever witnessed at a professional baseball game. Fans seated near the field level reported hearing the impact clearly and said the sound alone told them that something very serious had just occurred. Security personnel stationed around the perimeter of the field immediately began moving toward the center of the incident. But before anyone could intervene effectively, players from both dugouts had already poured onto the field. The Dodgers, seeing their most important player targeted in such a blatant and aggressive manner, responded with the full force of an entire team that had just watched something completely unacceptable happen to one of their own. Freddie Freeman was reportedly one of the first Dodgers players to reach the scene. Sources on the field said that Freeman moved with extraordinary urgency the moment he saw what was happening, placing himself between Ohtani and the escalating confrontation with the kind of protective instinct that defines true team leadership. Freeman's presence in the middle of the chaos helped prevent the situation from becoming even more dangerous than it already was. Mookie Betts also rushed onto the field immediately and was seen trying to push back against Mariners players who were moving in the direction of the confrontation. Betts was visibly furious, and witnesses said his emotion in that moment was completely understandable given what had just occurred to his teammate and close friend. Players from both teams were tangled together across a wide area of the field, with coaches and team officials desperately trying to separate individuals and restore some measure of order. The umpires on the field were overwhelmed by the sheer number of people who had rushed onto the playing surface and required significant assistance from stadium security before the situation could be brought under control. Manager Dave Roberts sprinted onto the field the moment the brawl broke out and was seen moving directly toward Ohtani with a look of intense concern on his face. Roberts later told reporters that his only thought in those first few seconds was getting to Ohtani and making sure his player was physically safe. Everything else, the brawl, the chaos, the other players, all of it became secondary to that single priority. Roberts confirmed after the game that Ohtani had been checked by the Dodgers medical staff immediately following the incident. He said that his superstar showed the same extraordinary composure during the chaos that he displays in every other aspect of his professional life. Roberts said that while the situation was genuinely frightening in those first moments, Ohtani's calm in the immediate aftermath helped prevent things from spiraling even further out of control. When asked directly about Cal Raleigh's actions, Roberts did not mince words. He said that what he witnessed in the sixth inning was one of the most disturbing things he had seen in his many years involved in professional baseball. He said that targeting Shohei Ohtani in that manner was not only dangerous and completely unacceptable but also a reflection of a level of disrespect for the game and for a fellow professional that he finds genuinely difficult to understand. Roberts confirmed that the Dodgers organization had already been in contact with Major League Baseball officials and that a formal complaint had been submitted. He said the organization expects a swift and serious response from the league and that anything less would send entirely the wrong message to every player currently competing in professional baseball. Major League Baseball moved quickly after the incident concluded. League officials who were present at Dodger Stadium began reviewing footage of the brawl almost immediately after order was restored on the field. Sources close to the review process confirmed that the investigation is being treated with the utmost seriousness and that disciplinary action involving multiple players from both teams is expected to be announced in the coming days. Cal Raleigh was ejected from the game immediately following the incident. As he was escorted off the field by umpires and security personnel, the reaction from the Dodger Stadium crowd was loud, sustained, and left absolutely no doubt about how the tens of thousands of fans present felt about what they had just witnessed. The Mariners organization released a statement shortly after the game acknowledging the incident and stating that the team is cooperating fully with Major League Baseball's investigation. However, sources inside the Mariners clubhouse described the atmosphere after the game as deeply uncomfortable, with several players unwilling to address the media and others clearly shaken by the events of the evening. Baseball analysts and commentators who have spent decades covering the sport began weighing in almost immediately after the game concluded. The overwhelming consensus was that this incident represents one of the most serious on-field altercations seen in Major League Baseball in many years and that the consequences for those involved must reflect the gravity of what occurred. And then, after all the chaos, all the noise, all the anger and emotion that had filled every corner of Dodger Stadium throughout that extraordinary evening, Shohei Ohtani stood in front of the cameras. Speaking through his interpreter, Ohtani addressed the incident with the same quiet dignity and extraordinary composure that has defined his entire career in America. He said that baseball is a physical and emotional game and that tension between competing teams is a natural part of what makes the sport so compelling. But he also said very clearly that there is a boundary between fierce competition and dangerous behavior, and that boundary was crossed last night. Ohtani said that he is physically fine and that his focus remains entirely on helping the Dodgers win baseball games. He thanked his teammates for standing by his side in the middle of a genuinely frightening situation and said that the unity the Dodgers showed on that field last night reflects everything that is special about this group of players. He finished by saying that he hopes the people involved in last night's incident take time to reflect seriously on what occurred and that he trusts Major League Baseball to handle the situation appropriately. The room was silent for a long moment after Ohtani finished speaking. Then the questions began again. But for everyone present, the most important thing had already been said, by the man at the center of everything, standing calm and composed while the rest of the baseball world was still shaking. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe to our channel for more exciting and up-to-date baseball news.